Hello everybody, my name is Mars, you can call me MG if you would like, and today I have for you what I think at least is a very exciting video. It is my November wrap-up and December TBR, and I really can't believe we're at the end of the year already. I have kind of insane reading plans for December. I have kind of insane plans all around for December, but reading plans especially. We're gonna get to that, but we're going to ease into this video with my November wrap-up, which I read less than I thought I would, but also still read a lot, so let's just talk about those books. So the first book that I read was Jujutsu Kaisen Volume 20, and this came out in August, and I have no idea how I managed to wait till November to read it, because I usually read these volumes as soon as they come out, and Volume 21 comes out the end of this month, and I'm so excited to pick it up. But yeah, this just continued with the same arc. I feel like when you're 20 volumes into a series, it's kind of hard to explain what it's about, but the general vibes of Jujutsu Kaisen are there are these things called curses that are basically monsters, and they have Jujutsu sorcerers that fight them, and our main characters are Jujutsu sorcerers fighting those curses. That's a terrible explanation, but it's what I got right now. I did not get much sleep last night, but yeah, Volume 20, fantastic time. I really enjoyed it. After that, I read Chainsaw Man Volume 12, which honestly, probably my most anticipated read of 2023, and it did not disappoint. I read the first 11 volumes all back to back last year, and it absolutely destroyed me. This is a series that has a very good balance of humor to profoundness, I guess you could say, but it was so good. The first 11 volumes are the complete first arc in the series, and then this starts the next arc, and I cannot wait to keep going with it. This series follows Denji, who is the Chainsaw Man. Basically, he's got a devil inside of his chest that lets him turn into this chainsaw human hybrid, and that allows him to fight other devils. And this arc, we were introduced to a secondary main character. We actually didn't even see Denji until like the last couple of pages of this volume, but I cannot wait to see where this goes. The 13th volume comes out next month, and I definitely have to get my hands on it immediately. Then I picked up Can't Stop Cursing You, which is a 4-volume series, and I thought it was good. It had a lot of promise to it, but the ending really did not do it for me. The last chapter had this massive, like, reveal of who the big bad was, and then it's just the end because it's the last chapter, and it's not even like the end of an arc or something. I could understand if it was the end of an arc, but it's literally called the last chapter, and there's no more after it, and it just felt like such a waste because the story just wasn't finished, but all of the stuff that happened before then I was really vibing with, so it's kind of a huge disappointment that it just ended without any real resolution, but overall I still did enjoy the series more than the things that I didn't enjoy in it. After that, I read Frankenfran, which is an 8-volume manga series that follows Fran, who is a Frankenstein-like creature who kind of operates on people and does doctor stuff, and she means well, but it often does not go great. If you like body horror, this is a really fun one for that because it is humorous, but it's also very gross and very dark. But overall, I thought this was kind of middle of the road, maybe a little bit better than that. It was fine, but there wasn't really one cohesive storyline the whole way through, and I kind of wish that there had been. Then I read The Bride Was a Boy by Chi, and this is just a 1-volume memoir-style manga detailing the mangaka's life as a transgender woman, and it was very cute, and it was what I vlogged for my members-only reading vlog this month, and I had a really good time doing that. Then I read, for what felt like years, the entirety of Full Metal Alchemist, one of my favorite manga/anime series of all time. It's just so good. I definitely read the manga before, but it's been a really, really long time. Definitely a lot longer than when I most recently watched either of the anime adaptations, because there's 2. It's kind of a long story, we're not gonna get into it. But this was 27 volumes, and it took me a while, and I finished it at 11 p.m. last night, but I had such a good time. I definitely cried at least twice, but this follows Edward and his brother Alphonse as they are trying to get their bodies back after a we'll call it an alchemical mishap, left them not completely whole. As you can see, Edward has a metal arm and also a metal leg. Alphonse's soul is tied to a suit of armor and he has no other physical body. And it's a lot. It's so, so good though, and genuinely, I could not recommend this enough. I did have one more book on my official TBR. It was The Flight of the Hummingbird, and I will definitely read that. There's still a week left in the month. It's just that I had to film this video today before I got around to reading it, so don't worry about that. That'll definitely happen. I'll probably also read something else because I know that's also only a 1-volume series, and so I will have plenty of time to read. Don't know what it will be, but I'm gonna stick with only reading manga in the month, so we'll see what it ends up being. Now, for my December reads, we've got a lot going on, so let's just lay that out before we do any card pulls or anything. First up, I have two kind of like mandatory reads. I have my Ranger's Apprentice book for the month because I didn't read one in November because I finished the like series part of it, and then there's just a book of short stories that kind of fill in the gaps there, and so I have to read that in December. And I also have another book that I am planning a vlog for, which I will mention here if I like get to put it in to a card prompt. If not, you'll see when the vlog comes out. But I have those two books, and then I'm also participating in the Aurelium Lightfall Readathon, and I have decided that that will be my members vlog for the month. I feel like there's been a couple of light ones, and then before that there were some books that I didn't really like as the vlogs, and so as a nice end of the year Christmas gift, I guess, to my members, I'm going to vlog my reading of the Aurelium Lightfall books that I pick for the prompts and put that up for them. And there's 6 of them. I don't know how many I will get through because it's only a 9-day event, but I will pick books for that here and let you guys know what I will be reading. So, without any further ado, why don't we figure out what cards I will be pulling first? Well, actually, first I have to roll for them. So, I'm a bit frazzled, as you can tell. I just have a lot going on. I look so small on camera. I have my mini D4 here because I figured why not make it harder for me to tell what number it is? Because it's so small, and also it's like a very pastel pink and blue with white numbers on it. I don't know why I did this to myself, but we're rolling my mini D4 right now. And I got... You're not gonna be able to see it, but that's a 2, which means I have to re-roll and add. And I got another 2, which means I'm doing 4 card pulls. So let me get out my deck and do that. So here we have my beautiful Adventurer's Tarot deck. It's not really a tarot deck, that's just what it's called. And I'm going to split it just so you know I'm not cheating and putting like certain cards up top. I almost just dropped all of them. I would have been very sad, but let's do our 4 pulls. So the first one is the Bard. Oh, such a beautiful card. They're all beautiful, but like, I just love some of these more than others. They're just gorgeous. Second one is the, Ivy is 4 of Adversaries. I feel like I pull an Adversaries card almost every month, but it's fine. The third card is the 2 of Fiends. The Fiends are probably the most difficult ones for me, but we're gonna do our best. Our 4th and final card for the last month of the year is the, Ivy again is 4 of Constructs. So I'm gonna go look back over my lengthy list of prompts to figure out what these are and pick out books and get back to you guys. So I will be right back. Okay, I haven't yet picked out all of my books because I remembered that one of the prompts for the Aurelium Lightfall Readathon is to pick a book based off the vibes of a random tarot card pull. So that's what we're gonna do. Not using an actual tarot deck, I'm using the same deck. We're gonna split it again just to prove that I didn't pick one in particular. This is not a book, like I don't have to pick a book for the prompt that goes with this card, I have to pick a book based on the vibes of this card. And the card is the 4 of Monstrosities. So we have a Medusa-looking figure. She's holding a cup. It's got some green and yellow on it. She's holding a dagger. I gotta find something that fits these vibes. So with that out of the way, now I'm gonna go pick all the rest of my books and I'll be right back. Okay, friends, I'm finally back. That took eons to pick books for not only these card pulls, but also the readathon. And I didn't even finish picking out books for the readathon. We'll get to that. I'm gonna do the card pull books first. So let's just get right into it. The first card I pulled was the Bard, and there are 2 prompt options for this. The prompts are either the first book in a series or a new to me author, and this was hard because I'm trying not to start any new series. I'm already in the middle of like 15. So I went with a new to me author, and the book I'll be reading is Romancing the Beat by Gwen Hayes, who I've never read from before. But this is a nonfiction, it is a writing craft book, and I'm very excited to be reading it. Then I pulled the 4 of Adversaries, and if you didn't know, the adversaries are all based on intimidation, and the prompt for the 4 of Adversaries specifically is a book that you are intimidated to read because of personal anticipation. And for this, I went with The Missing of Claire de Lune, and this is the second book in the Mirror Visitor series. You can see the first book right there, that blue spine. And I've actually read that book twice now and haven't moved on with the series because I really loved the first one, and I've heard that the series kind of goes downhill. At least people don't seem to like the 4th book, but I have been putting off reading the second book for a multitude of reasons, and one of them is that I just really loved the first one, and I'm worried the second one isn't going to live up to the hype. But it's on Scribd, I've got an ebook version of it, and I'm finally going to read book 2 in the Mirror Visitor series. Then I pulled the 2 of Fiends, and I might be shooting myself in the foot with this one, but the prompt is a gothic romance, and what could I have gone with if not Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte? This is a massive book. This doesn't just have Jane Eyre, it has Jane Eyre and Wuthering Heights, as you can tell, but Jane Eyre is the first, 2/3 of this. She's chonky, and I'm very scared, but I did recently say that I wanted to reread Jane Eyre, so it looks like we're doing that in December. And the last card that I pulled for my regular prompts is the 4 of Constructs, and the constructs are all publishing year prompts, and the 4 of Constructs specifically is a book published since 2020, and for that I'm gonna go with Dead of Winter by Darcy Coates, which was apparently published this year. I didn't know that until I looked at the, what is it called? The page with all the information. I don't know why I can't think of what it's called, but apparently it was published in July of this year. Weird time to publish a wintry book, but I don't know. I am very much looking forward to this. I recently read Hunted, and it was my first Darcy Coates, and I had a great time, so I'm gonna give Dead of Winter a try, and this is actually the book that I plan on vlogging in December, so you can look forward to that. And now to get into my Aurelium Lightfall TBR. There are 6 prompts, and I have picked out books for 5 of them, and I will explain why the last one doesn't have a book yet when I get to it. But the first one is for the shop of Occult Premonitions, and you have to pick a random tarot card and go off those vibes. And I had pulled 4 of Monstrosities, and bear with me here, it's gonna be a loose vibes situation, but I'm going with The Lost Stories by John Flanagan. It's got almost a similar color scheme. It's got this golden orange color and this blue green that the card has, and she's holding a dagger, and there's the one on the cover of the book. I think it works. It's what I'm gonna go with because I truly could not find anything else, and I have to read this book anyway, so that is the first book on my Aurelium Lightfall TBR. Next up is the Owlcat Craft Cafe, and there are 2 options of prompts for this. It's either read an audiobook while you do something crafty, or to read a book with a crafty word in the title, and I thought I was gonna go for that second one, but I found the audiobook for The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up by Marie Kondo on Scribd, and I'm not really an audiobook person, but I think I might be able to do this one with just an audiobook and not reading along physically, because I have read the manga version of this, and so I kind of know the vibes. I've seen Marie Kondo's TV show. I think that I will be able to listen and not get lost, especially because it's not a fiction book. That's definitely going to help, but I'm looking forward to this. The third store for the Aurelium Lightfall readathon is Shank and Shawl Legitimate Retailer, and the prompt for this is to steal a book from someone's TBR, and this is the prompt that I don't have a book for yet because not many people have posted their TBRs at this point in time, not only for this readathon, but just for December in general. So I'm going to keep watching people's videos as they come out and steal a book at some point. It's fine, I'll figure it out when I get there. Then for Wallace's Wonderful Winter Wanimals, the prompt is a book with snow or ice on the cover, and I'm gonna go with The Missing of Claire de Lune. Bear with me here, this is another one where I'm kind of iffy about it, but if I had thought ahead, I would have pulled down the first book for you, which very clearly has snow and ice on the cover, not only just because the blue vibes of that, but it takes place in a wintry landscape, and I'm assuming book 2 does as well, because if I remember correctly, Claire de Lune is in that wintry landscape, and we're gonna go with it and pretend that this fits. Then we have Smith and Friends and Sons Arcane Goods and Such, which is a mouthful, but the prompt for this is to read a book that was last added to your want to read list, and for this I'm going with Romancing the Beat by Gwen Hayes because it was the last book that I added to my saved folder on Scribd, so works out very nicely. I'm doubling up on prompts here. And finally we have The Old Tales Bookstore, and the prompt for this is a book that you've wanted to read all year but just haven't gotten around to, and for that I'm going with The Taming of the Shrew by William Shakespeare, which I put on a TBR back in January and did not read, and so I'm finally gonna get around to reading this, and I'm gonna have a dang good time if it kills me. But this is the last book on my TBR. So here we have my physical TBR, at least. We have Jane Eyre, The Lost Stories, Dead of Winter, and The Taming of the Shrew. We also have some not physical books. We have the audiobook of The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up, and 2 ebooks, The Missing of Claire de Lune and Romancing the Beat, and then some other book that I will figure out eventually when more people upload their TBRs and I can steal from that. But just looking at these physical books, I'm kind of intimidated, but also I'm really looking forward to a lot of these. This isn't exactly how I expected my TBR to go for the end of the year, but I don't know, I'm optimistic about it. I'm gonna put them down because they're extremely heavy, but that is all for this video. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to give it a big thumbs up. You can subscribe to my channel for more content, and that way I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye, everyone.